Zelazny might have a run here. He pulls up. 2 laps to go at Auto Club Speedway. What a run this has been. 5 cars out front just dancing around for the lead. Salas back to the bottom. Honeycutt stuck up top. Slide job out of Salas. Crossover out of Honeycutt.
23 should have a big run here. He does.
You see Salas starting to cover it up. He goes up the racetrack. Honeycutt's clear of them both. He shoves it up in front of the 23, gets himself loose. It'll be white flag this time by. Salas down low. Zelazny looking for a hole. Side by side, 3 wide, Coffee in it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. Who is going to win the Luke's Playhouse 200? Honeycutt controlling the race. Coffee in second. Tires are aging. Zelazny off the top rope. Got a little bit free. He's going to crash with lights. And yes, wall there. Who knows? Honeycutt, though, leading the race. Can Coffee get a run? He's going to send it. He hits him. Big bump and run. Coffee's going to try and get away. Can Salas get there? Coffee's going to crash. Salas is going to crash. Watch Nick Lights here to the stripe. Salas is going to do it with no front bumper.
Unbelievable.
Wow. There's the white flag from Barney the Flagman. 1 lap to go at Long Beach. White flag is out, brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams.
Yeah, can really hold him off. He looked like he's started to gap Cantonio just ever so slightly. Got about half of a second. It's been hovering right around there. Oh, Cantonio really pushing. He's sideways out of turn number 1. But Rayleigh just keeping that car pointed in the right direction. Nice and smooth, able to keep it going. It's going to be tough. Antonio knows that there's not very many chances, even if he can get close enough to him to make a move. So we'll see as they come through 6 and 7, head toward turn 8 onto the backstretch.
Deeper in the field, nothing changing. Lap traffic ahead. It's Kevin Peak and Bradley Alvis right in front of our race leaders down East Seaside Way. and to turn number 9 for the final time. Lap traffic in the way, and Rayleigh goes for it on peak. He sends it into turn 9. He knows he can't wait. He knows he can't give an opportunity to Kevin Cantonio. Cantonio's gonna take it anyway, ships it into the hairpin, and Rayleigh's gonna get away. Thomas Rayleigh is going to be a race winner in the North American Racing League. A last lap bump and run wasn't enough. This man wins at Long Beach.
Wow, what a finish coming through that hairpin. I thought they were all gonna wad it up. We had lap traffic in there, staying in there.
Road America is like a national park with a racetrack running right through it. It's elegant, it's beautiful, but it's far from peaceful when cars are on track. Oh, and there's a ton of trees. It's not some big stadium like Daytona or Indy. It leans into the throwback aesthetic, and it does it incredibly well. A perfect setting for this evening's NARL GT3 Season 9 AM finale. Welcome to Pitstop TV in the virtual Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV. I've got Chris Winstone back alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage once again of the North American Racing League GT3 Season 9. Tonight's coverage from Road America is brought to you by Muradness, by JS Consulting, and by Screw Compressor Service Incorporated. And boy, it's always difficult to open and close a season, whether it's the open of the broadcast or the end of the broadcast in either of those two races. It is just always so difficult to find the right tone, Chris, to, I think, perfectly encapsulate everything that is about to begin with a new season and about to end with a season that is reaching the closing of doors. And of course, here we are. It's the finale at Road America for the AM Challengers, and I don't know. I never feel like I know what to say when it comes to the end of a season. What I can say, though, is this racetrack is well suited for this battle this evening. There aren't a ton of cars here tonight, admittedly, but I think that actually might help some of these guys be able to just sit down and focus and have their battle.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a good thing. I mean, obviously, we always want as many cars as possible in every race because it's just more exciting for us as broadcasters. But this will be a good opportunity. The guys in the front, like you were searching for a tone, I think tense. We've been looking forward. Everybody, like I know there's pros and pro-ams who are looking forward to this because the points are so tight. So it'll be good for those guys up front, and also some guys, further back in the field who still showed up, and they're just putting laps in, trying to get seat time in the car, trying to learn kind of a difficult, really flowy track, and get more comfortable with GT3, so they're ready for the next season, or even a lot of them, we should get to see them in Porsche Cup. So it's I'm looking forward to this one. The excitement is absolute peak, I think, right now. This is great.
And as far as the points battle, you see the racetrack there, but we can talk about the exact battle these drivers have this evening for the championship. It's crazy, but also not. I mean, it's three drivers, they're basically even coming into the evening, so it's really just a matter of who performs better between Jose De Leo, Emiliano Almiron, and Miguel Alcrudo. There is a way that Pierre Thompson and maybe even Anthony Wayand can get into this fight. Wayand would need a lot to go right. I think Thompson is slightly more realistic, but either of these drivers have to be perfect. Absolutely perfect the entire evening. They cannot finish anywhere lower than first place if they want to win this championship. And maybe technically, mathematically, there's a way that they could, but realistically, they have to win both the sprint and the feature. They have to start this race on pole. That's going to be a tall order. They also would need Jose, Emiliano, and Miguel to have absolutely disastrous evenings and likely finish in the bottom three positions of each race. And that is just asking for a whole lot. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's improbable for those couple of drivers at 19 and 29 back coming into the evening, respectively. So it really is a battle of three. Jose De Leo, Emiliano Almiron, and Miguel Alcrudo. Those are the three drivers we are focusing on for tonight's championship. And speaking of, Emiliano Almiron and Miguel Alcrudo are first and second in qualifying. Jose De Leo down in the 6th spot. Let's get into the iRacing.com sim and see what these guys are contending with. First, I do want to look at weather conditions, since these guys are qualifying, and that weighs heavily into this. 68.3 in the air, 79 on track. It is not a crazy temperature out there. These guys have pretty much prime conditions right now.
Yeah, that's very manageable. I mean, I feel like a lot of time in this league, we I don't know, it just seems like we always end up on just roasting hot tracks, which is good. I mean, I feel like it's almost easier to adjust from a hot track to a cool track. It's kind of like you're training with weights on, essentially. You're trying to make it difficult, and then so when the track gets a little stickier, you just move those brake points later and carry a bit more speed through the corners. So yeah, good conditions should give us some really good racing. The grippier it is, the more battles hopefully we'll see as people have really good grip. But we'll see. I'm wondering how many battles we'll get with a small field, but Almiron has been very quick in practice. I'm wondering if DeLeo just invalidated his lap there. You got a little bit of room on the exit.
Yeah, it looks like he did. Which is a shame because he just went to third.
That's right. I mean, and that's kind of what we're talking about. The stakes are so high for these three guys. The pressure is, if you put a foot wrong in either race, you have to get through 60 minutes of racing making no mistakes, because one mistake, your championship bid is done.
And here is already a big hurdle really quick. Just to interject, Jose DeLeo has just been knocked down to 4th in qualifying by Devin Jenkins. So, you mentioned right there before I interjected, you cannot put a foot wrong. Jose DeLeo putting a foot wrong in that last qualifying lap meant that he couldn't go faster and defend against Devin Jenkins' lap time that ended up being set. So that is already a bit of a mistake for Jose DeLeo, and we know it's, I believe, 2 points. Scott's listening. I'm sure he'll tell me it's either 1 or 2 for qualifying on pole. That's a big deal. That could take Al Crudo and put him right back even with DeLeo. That could also take Almiron and put him even, or rather ahead by 1 point of Jose DeLeo. And right now it looks like Almiron's going to have it. It's still a little bit up in the air. Devin Jenkins is through his laps. Pierre Thompson is headed into Canada corner. I don't know that we're going to see anybody else set a new lap time. Thompson's the closest, and I don't think he gets back around in 20 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's a little bit too late. He might also still be getting a little practice in. Nice little slide on the exit there, but well held. Yeah, I don't think there's any way he makes it around here. That is unfortunate. But now, so DeLeo made a bit of a mistake, but I think we've seen throughout the season, if there's one driver that can overcome that, it's got to be DeLeo. He just kind of has been finding a way all season to, something goes wrong, and he's just like, all right, whatever, head down. I'm faster. I know I am. Let's get it. And he goes and gets the result anyway. So
I've been informed that Emiliano Almiron will receive a 2-point bonus for grabbing pole position, and that puts him now 1 point up on Jose DeLeo, and maybe more importantly, it puts him now 3 points up on Miguel Alcrudo. So that's a bit of an extra buffer to the guy who's starting right next to him and is lining up next to him on the grid there, right behind the iRacing.com safety car. So that is already something really big to take into account, and there you see Emiliano Almiron on the grid. Let's get right to it for this part, Chris. The starting grid this evening at Road America, admittedly, a little bit small. We have 15 cars this evening. Let's see where everybody is starting from. On pole position, Emiliano Almiron out of Argentina. He will lead us to the green alongside championship rival Miguel Alcrudo out of Puerto Rico. Back at row number 2, Devin Jenkins from Canada, Jose DeLeo from Puerto Rico, and your top 5 will be rounded off by Pierre Thompson out of Jamaica. It's Dean Kerr from 6th out of Ireland, Alex DeMarco and David Stevenson, a couple of statesmen there in 7th and 8th, and to cap off your top 10, Mitch Buenaventura and Mark Booley.
All right, then moving back to the last 5 drivers on the grid, we have Armando Aarons joining us out of Puerto Rico. He starts position 11 next to Christian Gritzko, who will be lining up in P12 alongside. So the 9 and the 91 together. And then we have a couple of AMGs. We got Bob Guadagnoli from the good old US of A lining up 13th in the 64 car next to Armando Bayron out of the Dominican Republic. And then finally Jourdain White in the back, hailing out of Jamaica, another Mustang out there. Now, I will say the Mustangs are going to struggle to overtake here. That BOP, I can tell you, I mean, going up the hill on the front stretch, when you come out of that last corner, you go up the hill, you hit 4th, and the car really wants to accelerate. It just feels like you're driving a bus. And so is a lot of the braking zones here are at the end of really long straights. And I know from practice and coaching, just trying to, like, defending was okay, but trying to overtake is, you just can't get up alongside. So, again, that's another advantage DeLeo has, being in a Corvette. He's got the car to make up for the mistake from qualifying. So we'll see if he can get it done.
And the weather conditions, now that we've gotten into the race session here as they take their formation lap around the racetrack, Not much of a change to the ambient temperature. I believe the track temp is maybe just slightly cooler. Partly cloudy skies. That's what I'm noticing. We kind of... And let's look at the sim time, too. 5:30 p.m. on May 14th. I mean, we should be well away from sunset by at least a couple of hours. So, really, there's no concern there, but... It's looking kind of gray. It looks more gray. Yeah, okay, we got a cloud. That's what I thought. Yeah, I mean, it got really dark there for a second, so that's going to change things up on the fly. I mean, I try to mention this even in day-to-night transition races that we have on the stock car side. You know, your reference points, the shadows, they're all changing. The way the track is lit is going to be changing, and even these longer shadows here in the evening in sim, they're going to be changing in the next hour of racing. Throw in some cloud cover every so often, it's going to be a little more easy to make a mistake and maybe miss a braking point, especially for these AM guys.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing I'd say if any of them watch this, good pro tip is you don't, in general, just don't use shadows, because that's the reason, right? They move. So you don't want to use those for braking points, but what it will do is, you know, it changes where you can brake, it changes how much speed you can carry through a corner, and here in the last corner, there is a real risk of when the sun starts to get low, it can really blind you, and there's already not a lot of reference for that corner, so that might catch some guys out there that get final corner.
I mentioned trees in my intro. You can see there's a ton of them that like to get in the way of the drone cameras, but we're going to take a look at them anyways as we get ready to go racing. Whiplash SimCam's race details. We, of course, have a 20-minute sprint to start the evening off. That's about to go green. A 40-minute feature then to cap things off. We'll have a top 8 invert. That'll invert just over half the field here tonight between these sprint and feature races. Fixed setup for these drivers. The rest is the same as usual. So the same format they've had all season long. I'm excited. We'll see what these guys can do. This is going to be an exciting one, I think. And again, the opportunity is there for each of the top 3 in the championship. They're all right on top of each other as they come around turn 14 and get the green flag here in a moment. We'll see what they can do. 20 minutes of sprint racing coming up first. This is going to be a lot of fun. Up the hill to the stripe. Emiliano Almiron, Miguel Alcrudo, your front row, and we are green in the NARL GT3 AM finale for season number 9.
Good getaway there, and you can already kind of see what I was talking about with that BOP. You see he's got the toe all the way down to turn 1, and he just has no way to catch up to him. Just dead in the water already, keeping it clean there. Small field should be pretty clean through here. Leo hangs it around the outside, and Pierre's going to have the inside of this corner here, so we should see a nice overtake, but he's definitely going to have to defend to keep that. Real good exit there from DeLeo, so this should be a battle going down in the next corner.
Looks single file all the way through the field out of turn 3. Now we're starting to get some draft battles down the long straightaway to turn number 5. And look at that, out wide over the curbing goes Almiron. He's trying to attack this racetrack as hard as he can from the get-go. DeLeo gives a shot there to Pierre Thompson. That backs him up even more, and that's going to be incidents here, Chris. I don't expect these guys to hit the limit here in the sprint race, but you don't want to get close. Not on lap 1.
Well, another thing you don't want any incidents at all is if you can get a 0, because that's more bonus points. So if you're trying to maximize here, that's one thing you got to avoid. I mean, you definitely don't want to take any damage. There's a light bump, so he won't be hurt, but you can see he's settling in now, and then we should see a battle for that position, I would expect. Good clean lap 1. Great shot of all the cars there. You can do a little tire warming, take the chance. It's flat for a long time all the way down to Canada Corner here.
And here we go, Miguel Alcrudo, Devin Jenkins battle into the Canada Corner. That is for second. Pierre Thompson still has Jose DeLeo close by for 4th. Here they go through Bill Mitchell Bend for the first time in the race. One car off, I believe that was Booley. He gets back on and battles now with Aarons. Final corner here for our race leaders. And they'll work back up the hill. Problems. Christian Gritzko turned around out of turn 13. He'll get back going. Relatively uneventful, it looks like. 1 lap complete.
See, out in front, Jenkins is going to go ahead and take that spot. And again, this is... It's tough. El Crudo is going to be not happy about the way his car has been kind of gutted. And you can see he's got a better exit, but look at how hard it is to even catch up, even with the better exit. Got a face full of bumper there. He's going to give him a little shove. Rattle his cage a little bit down to the inside.
And Al Crudo will get back by the 00. They're in turn number 5. That is for second place. Thompson right behind these two now. And again, the points battle is the 22, the 544, and the 78. So obviously Al Crudo needs to get back by that 00 immediately, as he did, to try to hang on with the 22 car. But he's already lost over a second. He is out of the draft at this point. He has lost a lot of time for just a lap and a half of racing. Almirola is absolutely taking off. You mentioned the 0x incident, I guess the 0x bonus, if you can manage that all night long. I certainly would expect that Almirola could get it done if he hangs up front like this in the sprint race, but then of course he might have to come from 8th in the feature, and that is the great equalizer of the evening. Of course, we see the advantage that Almirola currently has, but when we get to the feature race, flip these top 8, I don't know. Anything could happen. Give DeLeo track position. He could still come out on top of this thing, even if he's a little bit behind right now as we get this race started for 20 minutes of racing in the sprint race. And here we go. Lap 2 will go complete. A couple of drivers worth checking in on here. Jordan White has fallen back behind Christian Gritzko, so he's still coming to grips with the racetrack. He started this lap in 13th. He's now 15th. As lap 2 comes to a close. In the battle here, Armando Bejaran, teammate to Emiliano Almirola, is working to get by Mark Booley. Why this is important is if Bejaran can get up to about the top 8, even close, he might be able to aid Almirola in the feature should Almirola get inverted to 8th.
Yeah, that could be huge. I mean, having a teammate around to give you a chance. I think DeLeo was mentioning that a little bit in the Discord leading up to the race this past week. Because I think he's flying solo, from what I understand. So, just a little look up the inside from Pierre. Oh, little argy-bargy, but we're all right. Defend the inside. Okay,
DeLeo took a great look there up into turn 6. Nothing came of it, but he at least took the chance, and right now he needs to. He's 5th. Watching his championship rivals drive away, he needs to get after it. He needs to be on attack. As for Pierre Thompson, that kind of move into turn 5 is exactly what Al Crudo wants, because that has pulled these two back off of the 544 just a little bit. That's giving him a bit more breathing room behind him, and that's everything he needs. If he's going to run down Almirola, that's what he needs. He needs less pressure in his mirror so he can focus on the windshield.
Yeah, you definitely, you need that battle. You're cheering them on in your rear view mirror. Just basically try not to get too distracted by it. And, DeLeo, good heads up, backing out there. That could have ended your race. That could have been it. So he does need to be aggressive, like you said, but also it's good to see that he knows he needs to be aggressive, so he takes the peak, but he also knows he needs to be smart. And it's like, all right, that's that vortex of danger. Let's stay out of there and not get crunched, because I got too much riding on this to throw it away racing the guy in P4 right now. So real smart.
By the way, it looks like there is an issue site-wide for iRacing right now. Scott was messaging me just before the broadcast really got going. So if you are having issues, I see Donardi and a couple of others in the YouTube chat are having some problems. Nunez, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like it's site-wide for iRacing right now. I'm seeing reports in other league discords of several leagues having the exact same issue. So it's not an NARL issue, thankfully, with the league at least. It is site-wide right now with iRacing, but hopefully that gets resolved soon, as 13 minutes to go in the sprint race, and we're not seeing much changing in the top 5. That's not always a bad thing. These guys could be cooling their tires down, prepping a move here soon, and especially with this little pocket right here, Jenkins and Thompson, these two aren't really in it much for the championship. I mean, Thompson technically is, But again, that's a massive long shot, and with the night that Almiron is already having, I just don't know that that's really too much of, I don't know if it's worth getting caught up in if you're Pierre Thompson. Just focus on racing, having some fun, finishing as well as you can. Forget the championship right now if you're him, as Dean Kerr just had a moment through turn 8. That's our first real incident of the night, I think.
Yeah, very clean race so far.
And of course, that would be the hope with 15 cars, but you never know. We've seen crazier things, Chris. I mean, go back to Watkins Glen a week and a half ago. You saw some action, that's for sure. But Dean Kerr coming through turn 7, just got loose. I think he might have tagged some grass there, or just a little bit too much curbing there on the apex of 7. Maybe even the exit.
Interesting. Well, that's interesting, because normally the car doesn't mind those curbs too much. Now, I mean, I'm speaking from the Mustang this season, so maybe the Merc has more trouble with big snaps, but I mean, that looked... I mean, because that's normally flat right there. He didn't really get in the... Oh, yeah, just too much on the inside. You don't really want to be dipping the tires into that grass. It's very tempting because you can run out of room on the exit, but it's better to go a little wide, because then even if it slows you down, you already got the inside line for defending your position into the next corner, so...
We'll get one more look at it there. Yeah, he just cut the corner too much at 7, and that brought him right around on exit. That was just a small driver mistake there at a Dean. He'll get back going. And he's actually in the pit lane to receive a fast repair here in the sprint race. Probably not a bad idea. It didn't seem like it was going to be something he could sustain the rest of the race. Well, just about halfway through the sprint race, Chris, and I, of course, we have the power rankings we've been working on all season long. I do want to take a look at that before we go too much farther. There you go. Jose De Leo. You and I were talking about this briefly before we got the broadcast started. He is on top, and he is pushing the boundaries of these power rankings. You can only go as high as 100, and he's starting to get up there. He has been kind of the most consistent throughout the season, and I know that right now, you look at the ticker, and I think proportionally, you see him about a third of the way down the leaderboard, and you might be, thinking, why? How is he top of power rankings if he's a third of the way down? Well, we only have the 15 cars. If we had even 30, like we had most of the season, he would be in that top, 16% of the field instead, and that would look a whole lot better. He's still earning a ton of points in this position. Maybe not enough to win the championship if this keeps up, but it's a long night. We've got plenty of racing ahead. Regardless, he's on top right now of these rankings coming into this evening. And he's actually putting some pressure there on Jenkins, who's got some big left rear damage. We'll check that out in a second. Other highlights on this graphic, Thompson still in second. It's, well, rather down to second after last week. So he is worth watching here this evening. And then we just saw Dean Kerr have that mistake, but it was a positive highlight at least. The fact that he is in the top 10 now in power rankings before that issue. Mason Houseman, he is not here tonight. He'll drop out likely. But Devin Jenkins also back in the top 10.
Some good regulars, and like we talked about, that's why DeLeo, we're confident he can get this done of anybody who can start back here. And we got 9 minutes left. He's working right now on Jenkins. He's definitely got the pace, especially through Sector 2. He seems to be much quicker. Not really sure. I'm wondering if that was from, when this overtake happened.
That's what I'm looking at. I want to see. So it's already kicked in there, actually, the left rear of Jenkins' car. I wonder if maybe it happened in that battle. Let's go back just a little bit farther. There's already the damage there, even, I think. And, I mean, we might have to... This might have been something that we just didn't catch off the start. Or it's right here, because that left rear quarter panel is fine there. Wow, I mean, this is going way back. This is like lap 3, I think.
I will say that Ferrari can be quite fragile. The back end, I've had that thing just, you get a light tap and the whole thing just says, all right, I'm out, see ya, and the whole back end will come off.
It may have been in this little skirmish they had in turn 5, yeah. And it may have even been netcode, but we'll get a look right here. So yeah, it was just that kicked over the left rear there of his car. I knew they made contact at some point. I didn't think it was that significant. But that's
It
also
didn't look very significant. That's
Yeah.
and that's some of the more of the differences between these cars. Like you do that to a Mustang and it does not care. But the Ferrari, like we can see, it's like it's made of glass. So that's going to be hampering him, and that also kind of sucks for DeLeo because he's having some problems getting around him right now. And you gotta clear him because you have to at least get Pierre, which I think he can. And if he can get Pierre, he could definitely get Alcrudo. But I just don't think. Oh, here, big mistake there from Jenkins. That should be it. Sneak it down the inside, brave on the brakes.
trying
Mind
to
the
get him
exit,
clear.
very good.
Finally gets him clear. And so DeLeo up to 4th. And, you know, I think given the circumstances, he can easily just be happy with a 3rd place if he can get to Thompson. I think content maybe at 4th, but you want to get more. As Jenkins flashed a bit there. I'm not sure why. I think maybe just to get in his head. So I certainly don't think there was anything foul there in their battle.
No, everything looked pretty clean. He gave him plenty of space. It was very respectful racing.
And so DeLeo continues on. Oh, dropped a wheel there a little bit. I'm sure that was a 1X if he didn't have one already.
You can touch that grass a little bit, but yeah, I think that ship has probably sailed. The track limits are very. There's no sense of humor here. It doesn't let you get away with very much in very many places.
I like that way of putting it. There's no sense of humor. That's a really good way to describe the track limit sometimes. I like that. I might steal that, Chris. But back here to Armando Bejaran, he is chasing Armando Aarons. So a battle of the Mondos here, 9th and 10th. Again, this could be really important for the invert and the beginning of our feature race after this sprint. Watch this fight, 9th and 10th. If Bejaran can get ahead, I mean, even starting behind Almiron would be, I think, a help on that opening lap or two.
Yeah.
And try to push maybe a little bit, at least on the front stretch of the turn 1, try to get him something into that first quarter. Clearly any bit of track position is going to matter. I mean, look at these guys. They started 14th. Bejaran's only been able to climb up to 10th. Aaron's 11th up to 9th. Stevenson literally has not moved out of the 8th position, other than to briefly drop into 9th. So he started 8th, he's right back in 8th, and that is not the kind of stat line that Almiron wants to have if he's about to start 8th here in the feature race. Buenaventura's up a couple of spots. DeMarco actually up 1. So we mostly positive gains here in the top 10, at least the back half of the top 10. But I really feel like this invert is going to be the talk of the town this evening. I think that is going to play the biggest role in this championship battle over anything else.
It's going to get interesting. One thing I've noticed, I mean, if we're looking there, we got the nice, good battle developing between Alcrudo and Thompson. I mean, he ran up at the back of him, so I think he might have a little bit of an advantage. He's not going to have the help, obviously, of the tow from Almiron, so he's going to be kind of a sitting duck there if Thompson can just keep it together. But DeLeo's kind of fallen off. He's fallen back from this group. I don't know if he's just like, all right, this is good. But, I mean, you wouldn't do that. If you have the pace right now, you're going. There's no reason, we know from these sprint races, and I think I've watched him drop a wheel back there a little bit. I think he's starting to overdrive it a little bit. The frustration might be setting in, but it's all right. Just remember when you get, like you said, the invert, you're gonna be in front of him. So you've got an advantage there. Just kind of keep yourself calm, cool, and collected, and you never know. If those two get into each other, as long as you keep your nose clean, if you don't have the pace, that's your best bet.
And so the climb back up the hill here. This will be 2 to go for Emiliano Almiron and the rest of the field. Really the only outlier tonight, I guess there's 2 of them, Kerr with the issues that he had there. And then the only guy that's really off is Jourdain. And, I mean, he's still learning the road side of things. He's actually a really good road racer, I think, on the stock car side. I mean, he nearly won a couple of weeks ago in BRB on Tuesdays in stock cars in Mexico City on a road course. So he's very capable. But I think maybe this car track combo is getting the best of him this evening. He is back in the 15th spot of 15. And, I mean, he's unfortunately, about 11 seconds behind anybody else. So again, it's just not quite working for him. I don't know if the word is jiving, maybe. It's not quite jiving for him, I guess. But yeah, whatever it is about the combo just is not working for him tonight. But here's a nice little fight. Booley's now in this. The Mondo is going back at it, and Mark Booley wants to get in it as well. Ooh,
there you go. He's gonna. Oh, nice. This is a great little battle here. This is tricky to hold it around at the top of the hill. Keep him close. Little wheel banging. Rubbin's racing. That's all right. Oh, now okay. Now that gets tricky. That's how I got binned on the feature race.
Oh, Armando Bejaran. I thought he was gonna ship. Aaron's there into turn 7 or 8 rather. That was close. Right in the braking zone.
In the middle.
Yeah, yep, Bejaran. And I think he wants to get up into that 9th spot just so he can try to help. I mean, I guess 9th or 10th doesn't really matter too much when it comes to it, but I think he really wants to be in this position to help his teammate Almiron on the start of this feature race. Here he is, right between these two.
Look at the difference in the speed. Look at that. Like, you just no chance.
Wow.
Good on this is good. That's all you can do. That's all you do. Defend hard. You got the train going. You have the inside for this one, but I think, yep, it's done now. And he's just going to kind of sail off into the distance, but it's very well fought up to that point.
That was really good stuff. I think
into turn 1.
I think Bejaran's going to take off as here we go, battle for second. And Al Crudo's feeling the pressure here. He knows how valuable these points will be in the battle overall.
There you go. This is good. This is right where you want to be if you're Pierre. But now if you're if you're Al Crudo right now, just exactly that. Just hug that inside line. Say there's no way you are getting your car on the left side of me for this quarter.
Into the braking zone, Al Crudo inside, Thompson outside. He's going to try to get a switchback on him. It's not going to happen. Mark Booley's in trouble in the back. Now turn 6. Thompson forces his way to the inside, backs out. That was really, really bright, I think, to just back out.
Yeah.
Again, these guys are championship fighters. Yeah, Thompson's technically in it, but I think just a little bit of respect will go a long way here.
Yeah, I think he was pretty generous there because Al Crudo definitely left the door open. Which, you know, it happens. Sometimes you think you're a little bit further to the left, but you got to commit. So luckily, Pierre backed out there, or we could have seen both of them off. And I think DeLeo is just like, come on, guys, just stick your nose in. Just keep it in there. I'll be all right. So
Armando Aarons, oh, he's got a lot of damage. This might be worth a replay in our break between races. I saw Mark Booley also have an issue, but here's Emiliano Almiron out of Canada corner. It's just a quick run back around turn 14 now to get back to the stripe, and he will have a very significant race win here this evening to kick things off at Road America. We've still got a feature to go through. Nothing is decided or final just yet, but it certainly is a good start for Emiliano Almiron, who will win our sprint race at Road America for the AM drivers at NARL GT3 season number 9. Al Crudo second, Thompson, DeLeo your top 4, Jenkins, DeMarco, Buenaventura, and Stevenson will cap off the drivers that will be inverted as they finish in the top 8. There's Bejaran across the line. Bob Guadagnoli will come through for 10th. Gritzko will end up finishing 11th back here. And despite their best efforts, I don't think anybody's going to fall back to Jordan White here. Actually, Aaron's might. Yeah, his car is just not turning. So Jordan will pass the 9 car there, who is just having issue after issue right now. Booley also. Oh, my gosh.
Ooh, I wonder if those two got together or those are separate incidents. Yikes.
So Booley will finish this race in the pit lane. That might be a penalty that forced him down there. That's only in a compound issues. And unfortunately, it was 2 right-handers for Aarons to end the lap when his left front is absolutely destroyed, so he can't turn to the right. He'll finally get the power back down and bring it to the pit lane. I mean, it's the end of the race, so it doesn't really do anything for him, but Armando will bring it to the attention of the crew that'll say, all right, time for the backup.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a rough way to end it. You had yourself in position to help, and now gonna have to dig your way out of that big
Sure
hole.
enough, Booley and Aaron's did receive black flags there at the end. I'm not sure if they were both meatball flags, probably. So they get dropped to the end of the results. That's one more spot for Jordan White. Let's go back and see if iRacing will allow me to do this quickly. To get a look at what happened between those two. This might be the tail end of it.
Looked like it was out of turn 2. From when I was looking through.
Go back a little bit farther. Here's their run into turn number 1. Booley on the inside. Alcrudo, or rather, Aaron's in the Mustang. Contact there. Aaron's comes back over. And... oh, Booley just got loose.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's tough to see. I mean, it happens. It's once you put a tire on that grass, you got all that input trying to get it back on the track, and the car's just not going to do that.
Got a little free. He just got back to power and then initiated a slide. And as soon as the left rear hit the grass, I mean, it was done. But you can see the car when he gets back on the gas. I'll slow it down here in a second. Watch the orange and blue car ahead. In the middle of the corner, right out there, he hits the gas and the car just starts kicking. You can see the tire mark behind the left rear, actually, where it started to slide. And,
yeah, never even made it to the grass.
Yeah, I mean, he barely touched it. At that point, he was already too far gone, and that's what ends up happening for those couple of drivers. So that will wrap things up here between races. And Chris, this is a good opportunity for us to look at some of the differences between these race cars. You mentioned kind of the differences just in the body panels and how strong they can be. There's a full breakdown of this GT3 category.
Yep. Pretty big difference between a lot of these cars, but at the same time, they do a really good job of keeping them tight on the performance. I mean, we got this big mix of horsepower from 500 to 600 in my oh-so-glorious prancing pony Ferrari. Gotta love it. Mix of different engines. We got some V6s, inline 6s, V8s, V10s. I mean, it's all over the place, it's so funny how they're all so different. They look different, they sound different, they drive different, but then at the end of the day, I mean, they're just right there on pace. They're just all so close to each other. It makes such good racing.
And of course, that's the idea behind the GT3 category. You see some of the, you developed in 2005 between SRO and FIA, and yeah, I mean, the idea was to take production cars and make them race cars, basically, but also homologate it very heavily, as they do. I mean, it's not exactly a groundbreaking idea, I suppose, but it's done very well here in this GT3 class, that it's since, infiltrated more than just FIA and SRO. It's pretty much the standard that you start out in IMSA, in the WeatherTech Sports Cars Challenge, and also now is the car for DTM, or I guess the class for DTM, whereas DTM used to be their own kind of thing for so many years. So GT3 is definitely becoming a standard as time goes on. And you know what, Chris? I think it's fair to say that it's even given NASCAR some inspiration with the current Gen 7 stock car, which I think we've got a graphic on that too. Let me find it. There it is. Frankly, if you were to break down some of the stats and some of the specifications, they aren't terribly far apart. I will say, of course, the Gen 7 Cup car is 5-speed versus 6-speed. Otherwise, the transmissions are relatively similar. They are independent rear suspension. The engines put out about the same amount of horsepower, a little more on the Cup side. But the idea behind them, the diffuser and the panels underneath the car to kind of smooth out the underside of the race car is very much the same. So it's interesting just how influential the GT3 category has been across all of motorsport. But as we get ready to go racing for the feature of this evening, Chris, I've got a points update. I don't know that Thompson's out of it. I can confirm that. Thompson, Jenkins, they're out of it at this point. There are some fun fights behind them. The one that we're focusing on, of course, Emiliano Almiron and Jose De Leo and Miguel Alcrudo. Here's the old graphic. I unfortunately don't have a new graphic because it's happening live. But from Scott Reister, Emiliano Almiron now has a 5-point advantage over De Leo and Alcrudo, who are now tied. So keep that in mind. 5 points is the gap, and he's got to come from 8th place in this feature.
Well, I mean, he did what he needed to do. He got put himself in the catbird seat, as they say, and he's in control of his own destiny. You don't need to win. Top 3 is fine. You don't have to pass these guys, but we know he's definitely the fastest one on track. Qualified first, took off in that sprint race. He was just gone. There was never an issue of anybody catching him. I think, honestly, he probably backed off a little bit. He was still setting fast laps. So, yeah, we've got a really good battle behind him, but the only thing will he make a mistake, go off, pick up a little damage somewhere? If he gets a bad start, that could be a problem. And you're in the middle of the pack now. There's 15, so you're dead middle. And I can tell you that is a scary place to be. It gets a little hectic back there in the Hornet's nest.
There you see that white and blue Mercedes lined up 8th place on the grid. Let's go through your full starting lineup here for our feature race at Road America. On pole, how about the 777, David Stevenson? We'll see if that number is good luck for him in tonight's feature, the final of the season. In second place, Mitch Buenaventura, a whole lot of opportunity at his windshield. We'll see what he can do on the start of this one in his lonely Porsche. Back in the second row, Alex DeMarco in the number 2 alongside Devin Jenkins, who did fall back a little bit there in that sprint, so that betters his starting position here to play spoiler at the back end of the season. Back in row number 3, it's Jose De Leo and Pierre Thompson. Again, Pierre Thompson out of it as far as the championship goes. He's now 25 points back, really not a concern for the title, but it'll be fun to watch how he can play spoiler as he starts right amidst all of these championship drivers. You see Alcrudo and Almiron, they wrap up the group of drivers not only in the championship fight but also in those invert spots. Chris, here's the rest.
Yep, here we go. Then the rest of the field we have in P9, Armando Bejaran starting next to Robert Guadagnoli again. Couple AMGs there. Move back to the next row. Christian Gritsko starts in P11 alongside Dean Kerr, a couple of regulars. And then Jourdain White, who got that position there at the end, is going to be starting P13 next to Mark Booley and in front of Armando Aarons, who will round out our field. And I think he's going to probably be trying to make up some pace here in the beginning and score some points.
And weather conditions, now that we are in our race session, that ambient temp has been falling a little bit, down to 67.3 degrees, 73 on track, so just a little bit cooler now as we get ready for our feature race, the final of the season for these AM drivers. A big thank you to MX Wraps here for the look at the race weather. And as far as the time in sim, it's now 18:22 or 6:22, just about 6:30 as the sun starts to set. I think we've got still probably an hour and a half of sunlight. I think we're fine, but worth noting at the very least as the session wears on. Now, we, of course, have been talking a lot about schedules for the Porsche Cup side of things and such. Here's just one more look back at the AM calendar here for Season 9. Austria back on January 15th, kicked us off at the Red Bull Ring. That was a lot of fun. On through Spa. It was good to see Spa back on the calendar. We haven't raced there in a while. It's received some big updates, and it looked fantastic when we went there back in February. Indianapolis was, I think, a pretty solid round as well. I think kind of an underdog kind of round, one that people kind of overlook oftentimes. And Mexico was fantastic to have on the calendar as well. So some great racetracks to open things up. We then opened up the back half of the season for both divisions at Watkins Glen as the Pro Watkins Glen race was postponed to May 28th. Then we continued on here for the AM side through Japan, Virginia, and Road America here this evening. This is always an opportunity, you know, in the final round to kind of look back, reflect a little bit. It has been a really fun season of racing. I know we're kind of focusing in on a really tight field this evening, only 15 cars, but this has been, I think, one of the strongest overall for NARL. Don't let the car count deceive you. It has been fantastic.
It's these guys, I mean, have been just giving absolute bangers every week. I've had so much fun. It sucks that it's kind of over. This is the last one, but we'll pick it up.
Jourdain and King are wearing off on you, huh? I don't think you would have said absolute bangers before joining ARN and talked with them a whole lot.
No, I say bangers. I'm not that old.
Well, here we go. David Stevenson going to lead us to the green for the final green flag of the AM season here at NARL. We are racing for the final time in Season 9 for the AM drivers at Road America. Here we go!
Let's see who can keep out of trouble. We already got some tire warming. That's probably not where you want to be doing that, but...
Every bit of temperature counts for these guys. You see them weaving into turn 1, and now our 3 championship drivers are on top of each other. Al Crudo goes for the dive into turn number 3. He gets alongside Almiron, and they're going to drag race down this straight from 3 to 5 as Dean Kerr's got problems in turn 3. Stevenson leads down the hill. Here we go, turn 5. The first real passing opportunity. Who's got what? Thompson up the inside. Here comes Al Crudo and Almiron. Thompson around. Wow! DeLeo had to stop.
Wow. What? But I mean, wow. Like, I cannot believe he did not make contact there. And I cannot believe he got that stopped in time.
But the avoidance will be futile, considering he's back in 10th place, and he just watched Almiron and Al Crudo disappear off into the distance. I'm so whiz-banged by all that, I can't form words. I mean, that was just insane at turn 5. We'll take a look back at it here in a moment after this lap goes complete. Kerr is in the pit lane. Thompson's still rolling. And here we go, battle for the lead, too.
I mean, just tons of excitement right off the bat. Let's see what these guys can give to us as they go through the kink. Got a ways. It looks like he's just kind of hanging back. I don't think we're going to see him move here, but we'll see. We got a lot of racing, and it's a small field. And I think because the track's cooled off a little bit, DeLeo was kind of slightly over driving there in the end of, as we see somebody make a mistake. That's another position. He is on full avoidance mode right now, but still going. I mean, look, he still looks fine. Look at him. He still looks settled. Great line through there. I mean, he's locked in. I love it. But he was slightly over driving his car in the sprint race, and I think now that it's cooled down, that might play to his advantage, because if he just keeps hitting those same braking points, that's going to stick now. And he's going to be able to actually get away with that.
I know there's still plenty of racing to go, Chris. It's only one lap here in the feature, but I can't help but feel for Jose. It really feels like the box was just shut on his championship hopes there on lap 1. And again, anything can still happen, but that's at least how it feels right now. And I really am devastated for him, because this feels like a season where he has done so much right. Maybe not every single thing, but I would say 3/4 of what he should have been doing he did. Maybe even more. Maybe 80, 90%.
Yeah.
It has been a fantastic season out of him as we got battles ahead. Look at this. Jenkins and Stevenson, they have unseated Stevenson at the race lead. He falls to 3rd, while Crudo is getting away from Almiron. There is a lot to talk about.
That's huge.
Al Crudo out in the grass.
Just got to keep it together. I mean, that sucks, but it's almost a relief when you get that first 1 extra. Like, all right, I'm not getting those bonus points. Time to push. Until then, maybe if you're trying to get bonus points, you might not be pushing quite as hard as you otherwise would. So Almiron might also be being pretty careful. But yeah, I mean, like we were saying about DeLeo, he's done almost everything right. There have been mistakes, and that's how he ends up. We've talked about his recovery drives and how he comes back, and sometimes he'll get wins. Sometimes he recovers to P2 or P3. He's consistently up there, but if he doesn't make those other mistakes, I think there's a chance he just kind of walks away with it. I think we see Jourdain retire here.
Problems for Gritsko and Aarons as well. A lot has just happened. Here come the leaders up the hill. Let's take a look at Al Crudo. He's making a move here on Stevenson. That is Big time points opportunity for Alcrudo. One more spot here would put him third, and that would put him 3 spots ahead of Almiron. That is huge, as DeMarco had a look there from behind. As oh my god, these guys off the race lead now. Jenkins to the inside of Buenaventura. Alcrudo is through to third. Almiron has Bejaran on his back bumper, and these leaders are going at it.
And this is perfect for Alcrudo. Here we go. He's up there. He's already up there. He might be able to follow somebody through. And Almiron's still sitting back in 6th. Now it's a long time. He's probably going to make up some, some positions in the pit stop. And that's where I'm wondering if we're going to see. If I had to predict right now, I'm predicting Alcrudo first, Almiron P2, and I think it would get decided on. Basically on that last sprint race.
Well, look at this. DeLeo has caught back up. He is right behind the train. So it might not be game over for Jose just yet. He is certainly down, but never out. He is 8th place, right behind these guys. This race is still alive for the Puerto Rican that wants this championship oh so bad. I want to get a look back at everything that's happened in this race, but this is just too good to leave right now.
It is. I mean, DeLeo, he's like, I don't know, he's just like a zombie, man. You think he's dead, you think he's out of it, and he just rises from the dead and comes back to get you. All of a sudden, he's in your mirror again. And yeah, this is a great big chain. You got to be careful. Yeah, don't do. That was a little risky there, a little deep, but he held it together. You don't have to do too much. Get as many of these positions as you can, get to the pit stops, and you're going to be able to save fuel back here too. So,
well, I'll tell you what, Chris, let's see if we can go back. This seems like the train is starting to settle in for some fuel saving. I'm sure as soon as I say that, they're going to prove me wrong, but I want to go back and see if we can get at least a little bit of a look at what happened. So I know Dean Kerr has had problems. That's probably going too far back, but I'm going to try. Let's see if I can just go this way. This is the start for Kerr. If it's not here in turns 1 or 3, I think it might happen down at 5. On the outside of Jordan White into turn 1 there, has the advantage into 3. Gretzko on the inside now. And he just got loose.
Oh, man.
Not sure really what even caused that.
It's the second time we've seen a couple of races ended from that, such that, Kerr and Jourdain got caught out there, but...
And the most recent, big incident is what I'm trying to get back to now. That's going to be Christian Gritzko with a couple of others. So Bob Guadagnoli right in front of him there, and he is flashing him, laying on the flashers. Gives a bump there in the carousel to Guadagnoli. NASCAR bump and run style. That is frowned upon in this level of racing.
I mean, he's just getting impatient. There's nowhere to really go there. I mean, but he's feeling the pressure. That's the thing. You got that guy breathing down your neck. Oh, is that... Oh.
That was Jourdain White. That also took out the 9 of Aaron's.
Ooh.
Boy, oh boy, I want to get a look back at that. That's a complicated situation. So this is down to 8, and already Gritzko is, weaving on his back bumper. And I get it, you want to go, but being too impatient is a problem.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of almost slows him down, which then brings him further back to Jourdain, which I think causes some of the problem there.
Because now you're diving right and left, and Guadagnoli might hold one line if you just stay in one spot. But instead, when you're moving around like that, I mean, he doesn't know what to do. If he wants to get out of your way, you keep changing lanes behind him.
Yep, and then Jourdain's just kind of gets a little bit run off the road there, a little bit surprised by what's happening, then ends up on his outside. And then I don't know if he knew he was there. I think the car in the middle, I think he was not expecting Jourdain to be there. Yeah.
And, I mean, they can argue over the position all day long. That's just racing, honestly, side by side in that stretch of racetrack. We're hearing there's a little bit more drama with Gritsko up the road in the replay, so give me a moment to cue that up. Yeah, let me check
You have
this out.
DeLeo starting to move through the field a little bit now.
We'll take a look finally at this, and then we'll get back to live picture. Here's Gritsko. The field is approaching. He's going to pull off.
Cool.
So that was the field going by Gritsko while we were in replay. You see Al Crudo has gotten ahead of Buenaventura, so that's important to note. And then where is Guadagnoli? We're hearing it's those two drivers involved again, so let's advance the replay up a little bit here. Gritsko's definitely waiting.
I mean... That...
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can't do that, man. Like, I know you're pissed, but... I mean, that's part of it. You got to keep your cool, man. And now, yeah, you can see he picks the pace back up, so definitely no damage or anything. He's just trying to take him out. That's what it looks like. Is he just going to the back of him here? Yeah. I mean, come on. He's not trying to get around him.
Yeah, so we'll just... If there's even anything else, it probably doesn't deserve the TV time, so...
Yep.
Regardless...
Sucks, I like all those guys, but, you know, you got to keep it cool, man. Here we see DeLeo's about to make a move for position on Bayron. Yeah, they're good battles. Go all the way through the field there. Kind of this pack's kind of sorting itself out. There we have Mitch Buenaventura kind of getting caught by the faster guys, but he's held on for a really long time so far. Still hanging in there.
And the important piece in all of this, I mean, I know we want to watch DeLeo, but Almiron's up to second. He's got some damage in the left front, so he has invalidated, I'd think, that 0x bonus for himself. More than likely, but yeah, he's in second, and that would cover up everything that Alcrudo's doing right now.
Yep.
DeLeo wants to get back up there desperately, but again, it might be a futile effort. With where Almiron is. I mean, certainly you still want to go position yourself as best as you can. Anything can still happen. Almiron, I mean, who knows? You know, the power grid could fail. I'm not wishing that on anybody, but I mean, it could be as simple as a squirrel chewing, or I guess maybe a squirrel wouldn't chew on, well, maybe. A burrowing rodent could chew on a power line that's buried in the ground somewhere, and then that could knock out. I mean, it could be something so silly, right?
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing, you gotta, that's what he's gotta focus on, is like, okay, well, it's not going exactly how I wanted. But if the guy makes a mistake, you need to be, if you're not in position to capitalize on it, if you give up and you're out of position, then, and something does happen, then you just shot yourself in the foot. So this is all you can do, just get the best result. You still want to, you know, there's still money for top however many positions, so... You know, there's plenty to play for, even if you're not going to win the championship. And I think it'll be exciting. I'm sure next season we'll see. I think all three of these guys. It'd be nice to get them in Pro-Am, and I'd be excited to race with them again. They can kind of come experience the blender that is the Pro-Am field, but they'll adjust. And I think these guys will be quick. And I'm looking forward to racing them again. Good defensive, keep it in line. So, and yeah, Almiron, this is where you want to be. You don't have to worry about pulling away. These two guys battling, none of that really matters to you too much. Just see some pressure here from Mitch on Jenkins. That battle's not over yet.
Rather, I think it might have just ended. I think Devin finally got around Mitch Buenaventura, and that is the battle being put on ice, possibly.
Yes.
Well, he might not be able to get away. So I guess maybe not on ice, but the power has definitely transferred in this little fight between these two. And if anything, I do think Jenkins has the pace to get away. It just might take a little bit.
He's already got a nice gap there that he built up through the carousel. Just kind of has that. The carousel is all about timing, so I think he's got his timing down better. That just takes some seat time. And I think that's one thing I was kind of explaining before we started. I was in a call with Jourdain and Pierre Thompson, and kind of like explained, I was like, you know, I just to run middle of the field in Pro-Am, I probably do about 12 hours of practice on each track. Between that and coaching, and it's like, I mean, and that all these guys are practicing a lot. I know these guys hop into practice sessions every time there is one. They hop in there. The guys at the front, DeLeo, Alcrudon, Almiron, even Buenaventura here, you see him a lot. There's a good handful of guys, and they're usually the quicker ones. So it's, with the GT3s, it really matters how much time you put in. You kind of get out what you put in.
Nearing halfway in our feature race this evening, Jose DeLeo is putting some pressure on 6th place Armando Bejaran, but I do believe it's too much of an uphill fight. I don't ever want to say a championship is decided before it's truly decided. Obviously, that's bad practice on my part, right? If I want someone to watch the whole broadcast, I don't want to say that. But
yep.
I do have a feeling that if Emiliano keeps his car where it is and does not have any mistakes and no otherworldly factors at play, I do think he's got the championship well within his reach and grasp at the moment. Anything can still happen. 24 minutes to go. We still have over half the race here. That's 12 laps-ish, 12 and a half, I guess, at the moment.
Yep.
But
And
it's looking great for car 22 currently.
Yep. He's in control of his own destiny. It's where you want to be, but, you know, do not speed coming into pit road. Whatever you do not do that. Slow it down early. Who cares? Just don't miss your box. You know, it's kind of like just roll it back a little bit. And I think it seems like he's kind of done that on pace. He's like, all right, I'm good. But you don't want to do that too much on the track. You don't want to do too much saving and too much relaxing, because, I mean, Jenkins is right there. And then if, you know, DeMarco or DeLeo end up after pit stop cycle through, and if DeLeo can catch up, I mean, that could be in trouble. Alcrudo could be in good position. He's only got to make up the 5 points, so.
You see DeLeo all the way over behind Bejaran. They were on the pit wall there down the front stretch. Here we go into turn 1.
Good, you got to try the crossover here. He didn't get enough on the throttle, so that's good defending. It's really hard to hang it around the outside there. Basically, you're trying to get the crossover, which looks like better job here. Little wiggle out of that Merc, which is going to kind of put him in a precarious position. But there you go. Got to hug that left. Don't give any room. Make him commit. There you go. Now you can bring it over a little bit. DeLeo's going to use all the space. Try to cut it back. Right on him. Now cover that left side. Don't leave a gap.
Whoa.
There you go. Good. Yep.
It's starting to get on the edge, though, of what's technically allowable in this kind of racing etiquette, because, you know, you typically get one movement in defense, and I feel like Bejaran took 2 there into 6, especially in
a little bit.
an overcrest braking zone. I mean, that is really, really tricky, right? I mean, that's somewhere that if you're rally racing, you come up over a crest, your co-driver is telling you to hold a line and not be moving around or transferring weight any more than you need to for the corners coming up ahead. You know, you've got to have the 4 wheels as straight as possible if you're rallying over a hill like that. So a GT3 car that is infinitely more aero-sensitive, you really want those 4 wheels to be straight. So that was a little tricky there. I'm glad it all panned out. I guess I'm just saying this could get very dramatic very soon.
Yeah, he did defend the inside, but you saw, like you said, he kind of made a second move to the inside once he realized he wasn't quite where he needed to be. So that is what you want to do, and his first move would have been fine. You just got to fully commit. That's a really good late apex there. It's going to give him a great exit. You can see he's pulling away, but it's going to be a real strong toe. Tuck in behind. Don't dip out. Stay right behind him. There you go. He's not going to be able to make a move here. Oh, this is too early. You don't want to be defensive right here. He's nowhere near. He can't. Yep, see, now look at how slow he's got to do. He just left himself vulnerable. Defend the inside. Very good. Don't give him any gap. Don't invite the trouble.
Pierre Thompson hitting the pit lane. This is likely his scheduled fuel stop for the race. It's a little on the early side, but you see the damage there in his 18 car after being involved in that riffraff with Gritsko and Guadagnoli, and so he will, of course, want to get that car fixed as soon as possible. And that's I guess, the thing you have to balance. It's not so much relevant here in the championship fight tonight, but it very well could be for the pros at Watkins Glen in a couple of weeks. If you have damage, you want to get that fixed sooner, so that might be your justification for pitting a bit earlier and having a little more fuel loaded. You know, at that point, you're kind of weighing which way will you be faster, if you continue with the damage or if you have a little bit extra fuel.
Yep, and you've got, you know, see, we're going to have a move around the outside. Man, this is just really, really heating up, and it's brought the car behind into it, so we've got Stevenson, who might be looking to take advantage if these guys get too spicy. But yeah, to your point, you want to get that damage fixed, and with a small field like this, you know, your chances of coming out and really having a lot of track to work with, a lot of space, the traffic's not as bad, so you can, if you're quick enough, you can definitely make up that time.
DeLeo looked again there at a Canada corner, quickly covered by Bejaran. I mean, I know Almiron has the advantage here, but I gotta say, I am impressed by the dedication to the craft here from Bejaran to do everything he can to try and help his teammate here. You know, it's definitely, I mean, it's not team orders in the sense of anything unfair to influence the race as Bejaran pulls off there to pit. Alcrudo will also pit here on this lap, which is kind of intriguing. So he is in a little bit early. But the dedication to the craft from Bejaran is admirable for sure. To continue defending like that when your teammate that needs the, I guess, the defense is already well ahead. That's, you know what? That's a good teammate.
That was excellent teamwork. I mean, you love to see that. It was really, really good defending. I mean, like we had said, the only real note was just going being defensive a little early into turn one, you know, but he recovered and still held the inside for turn two. I mean, that's great. You did everything you need to do, and when your teammate watches that back, he's, you know, I hope he buys him a beer or something, because he definitely earned it.
All right, let's Venmo you, $15 or something, or the equivalent thereof, I guess. And
yeah, give me some of that championship purse, bro.
There you go. Yeah. Well, Miguel Alcrudo out of the pit lane. You see the 17.42 seconds for the pit time. Chris, I'm pretty sure you guys typically do like 12, right? I mean, that feels like a long time.
I think so, but I mean,
even
to be totally
in the
honest,
pro race last week, I feel like it was like 13, 14.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. Like 14 is probably, I think, the longest I ever see when I watch the broadcasts back. So that does seem like a long time. You don't have to sit there for fuel. Maybe well, no, I mean, if you missed the box, it wouldn't count that time.
Correct. Yeah, it doesn't that time. So the time on the right, the box time, does not start until they are stopped in the box and service begins. It would just affect the lane time overall. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a little bit alarming for me. But here we go. Pit stops now out of the rest of the field coming in. I would expect just about everybody pits here, although DeLeo, it seems, might... No, he is pitting. Okay, everybody's going to come in.
Absolutely crucial stops here. Who's saved enough fuel? I think Almiron might have a pretty short stop, I would expect. I think he's been able to save quite a bit of fuel. I think he's been taking it easy. It seems like he was going a lot slower than he was the rest of the day.
So pit stops here for all of our leaders. That's DeMarco overshooting the box. Stevenson is now in. We're tracking Almiron's time. Then we'll flip over to DeLeo.
Ooh.
A bit longer, 16.3 for Almiron. He will come out behind Jenkins.
Awesome.
And for DeLeo, rather, in the 78, it's going to be 15.63. So some longer stops this evening compared to what we're used to. And DeLeo will have the advantage here over DeMarco and Stevenson. That puts him out 5th at the moment.
Wow, that shook things up.
And look at this. Jenkins is the leader. Alcrudo, even pitting the lap prior, came out right behind the 00. And you see the pit time to the box time for Alcrudo, 17.42. For Jenkins, 13.9.
Wow.
And, I mean, that feels like a normal amount of time to take in the pit lane for this, well, I guess the pit stop, rather, for this league. So, that's... I don't know. We'll see.
I would be curious to see if the Mustangs in general had more, because being a bit down on power, you might not get to lift and coast more if you're battling. It'd be a little bit harder to do, but I mean, even then, that seems like so much. I wonder if they just, whatever I do, I cannot run out of fuel. So give me a lap extra or something.
So into the final 15 minutes here shortly of this amateur season. Emiliano Almiron not far back. I'm not sure exactly how the numbers are going to wind down here, Chris. I do think as long as Almiron is in this spot to Alcrudo's position currently, I think it's still Almiron's championship.
Yep.
But I think we're also in for a really good fight.
Definitely. I mean, you see kind of hanging back. He's just kind of maintaining that gap. You don't need to get too close, but you will need to keep an eye on your mirror and make sure, Mitch doesn't get too close to you. But you can kind of take it easy. You don't need the win. This is a 4-point gap. Now, and that's the thing. So you got 2 points between first and second, but then I think it's 1 point all the way back. So I think
so.
If you do that, now we don't know what their incident points are. I'm assuming just based on the track limits here that they probably all have incidents. So I don't think we'll see bonus points there. Do we get? I can't remember if there was one for fastest lap or just. Well, Almiron. Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, is there one for fastest lap? I can't remember. I don't think so. Have to check with Scott on that.
I'm actually going back within the points channel to review, kind of feel like there is. And I feel bad because we cover so many things, I can't ever keep the points format straight.
I know.
Obviously, like Crofty in F1 and, Mike Joy and Kevin Harvick, they do NASCAR. I mean, that is their shtick, right? They do those series and those series alone, so they don't have to worry too much about other formats. We, of course, have the several that we cover throughout the week, but Scott is saving us once again. No point for fastest lap. I didn't think so anymore. It felt like that was a vestige of past seasons, but Scott confirming that there is no fastest lap bonus here at the current point in time, so that's not a worry for these guys. They get to just keep racing.
So if you're Almiron, then you really want to be in P2 because this is a 4-point gap. If Jenkins did manage anywhere to get a 0x, or sorry, Alcrudo managed to get a 0x, if he gets around and he managed to get a 0x, then, you would lose it. So you need to get at least a P2, but he's closed up there. He was kind of maybe taking it easy on the cold tires. Big mistake from Jenkins there. That's going to slow him down. I think we're going to see the move behind him first. Almiron doesn't care. He says, I don't want to stay behind Alcrudo. I'm just going to get in front, and then I'll be gone. It'll be easy. Ooh. Showing the nose a little bit, trying to get in his head. No reaction from Alcrudo, though.
Well, as we're about to embark on this fight, here we go, Alcrudo to the inside of Jenkins. That could be a big-time pass. Let's quickly do our nominations. Driver of the day, it's that time, Chris. Final 12 minutes of Season 9. Who you got?
Let's see here. I mean, okay, so for my first pick, I think we'd have to go with Almiron. He's not doing anything too crazy. He's keeping himself in position. He's managing everything well, and he hasn't put a foot wrong. And knock on wood, I do not want to commentators curse these guys. Great battle here going on between these two as he's trying to get the position back, and that is not what you want. You really need to start pulling away and put that gap on Almiron. So yeah, first pick, Almiron, and I would like to do Alcrudo, but I feel like if I don't, he's still going to get nominated. So one guy I think would be nice to point to is, I think Mitch is doing really well. I know it says he's lost 2 positions there, but Mitch Buenaventura, he's had a bit of a rough season. Really rocky start, as we know. So it's just good to see a little bit going his way, and I hope he can hang on to a lot of those positions. So that's my two, Almiron and Mitch Buenaventura.
Good picks. I think Mitch is definitely one of the good guys here in the series, so it's good to see him doing well tonight. And boy, you know what? I hate to go against Jose DeLeo, but I don't think I'm going to be picking him tonight. If we're going to be honest, yeah, he's been consistent all season, and you and I were talking about this earlier. I feel like he has certainly been the most consistent, safe, like in a good, safe way, in a good way. But I feel like Almiron has been, sure, a little more volatile, but a little bit better here in the back end, and maybe higher ceiling, lower floor. Like sometimes, yeah, he has a bigger incident or whatever, but he has been really good. And I think this championship, if Emiliano does wrap this up, will be super deserving on his part. But in the scope of driver of the day, I think I'm going to have to go for the two guys in first and second right now, dueling for the race win at the moment. Alcurdo and Jenkins. I think these are the best two to slot in those couple of slots. Here we go, Almiron points down to the apex of 5. I thought he was going for 2 for 1 there. That was going to be a lot. Well, I'll pencil those two in, Alcurdo and Jenkins, even as Almiron gets by the 0-0, and we'll just kick back and watch the rest of this fight.
I think that sounds good. I think we got some solid picks, and yeah, it sucks to kind of pick over DeLeo, but I'm wondering if maybe he had other stuff going on and didn't get to do as much prep as he normally likes to, or maybe this track doesn't agree with him. But you know, it kind of sucks the way he got put on the back foot just from qualifying. Track limits bit him real hard, and that was what we were talking about. One small mistake, and that's it. His whole bad night started, and I think the reason he is where he is now was just a 1X, just a slight track limit violation in like the last 2 corners of the lap.
Yep. The night does truly start in qualifying. I know a lot of guys say, oh, you know, qualifying doesn't really matter. It does. It really does. And
oh yeah,
I think that argument can be true on the stock car side, Daytona, Talladega, maybe, but otherwise, qualifying really sets the tone for the whole evening. Even if it's a tight field, you know, a small field, whatever, it doesn't really truly matter as far as, you know, racing lap 1 or 2. It sets the tone for your night. So if you have something go wrong in qualifying, that, yeah, doesn't set a great tone. As here we go, battle for the race win. And I mean, kind of the championship. Alcurdo gives him no room there off the corner. Just enough to exist. Almiron trying to get by.
Now, that's the thing. Like, I mean, I don't know if I get this. I mean, you don't need to do it. You don't need to risk it. I mean...
Yes, but they're racing drivers. You're a racing driver, if that car, right? You never want to finish behind somebody.
I mean, yeah, because you know, like, yeah, I mean, I won, but I finished P2. It's like, yeah, you're like, yeah, I want to be in front.
Yeah,
I'm faster than this guy. Just get out of the way.
Exactly. Stubbornly, racing drivers will always try to improve their position on the racetrack. I mean, that's just how it is. So Almiron does back out there at 6. That's a big moment. Backs out at the apex, and you see Alcurdo is taken off by, to the tune of a second. I think Emiliano can get back there, but it's certainly going to take everything he's got at this stage in the race. So this could be a fun little fight. And look, Buenaventura and DeLeo are not far out of this. 3 seconds separates your top 5. This could be a really, really exciting, exhilarating run to the finish here. We've got about 5 laps to go last time by the stripe, so 4 when these guys get back to the flag stand. This is shaping up to be a really, really fun finale and really fun ending to the finale. Here we go, DeLeo on Buenaventura down to the braking zone at Canada Corner. And that green Corvette points his way to the inside, but not quite by the Porsche. Now he does. I don't think Mitch is going to appreciate that too much.
Yeah, that was a little aggressive on the exit there, but I guess if you're DeLeo at this point, you're like, look, I got nothing to lose at this point in the race. 6 minutes left. Get out of my way. I got to be as close to the front as I can.
That's the thing.
In case these guys do race each other and take each other out. Just give me something, you know what I mean?
And that's the thing with finale races, right? You want to put it all on the line because it is the last race.
Yeah.
What's the admin's going to do, I guess, if you do hit somebody a little bit too hard? Suspend you? I mean,
Yeah,
yes, technically they can levy a penalty for the next season upcoming, but you know, at least in the moment, that's the thought process, right? You know, it's the last race. There's not really anything after it in the scope of this season, so you're going to be a little extra aggressive. At the same time, I think it's a very valuable frame of mind for any racing driver, especially in a sim racing sense. And in this sense, it is the last race. Let it go. If you do have contact with somebody, let it go. It's the end of the season. There's no sense in harboring those negative feelings and being mad all off season. Let it go. You know, it's at the end of the day, it's sim racing, it's pixel racing. Yes, we take it very seriously, and yes, we want the best for everybody, but you know what? I think everybody's got a very common goal of just trying to do their best. There are moments, there are certainly, I mean, we saw one even tonight where somebody got a little extra upset, and so then his frame of mind and intent definitely changed. It was no longer just to do the best on the racetrack that he could, but point remains, typically we all have a common goal. We're all just trying to go fast and try to get all positions we can. Nobody is usually trying to do anything nefarious. So, yeah. Anyhow.
I mean, we know Gritsko. He's a good dude. He got a little heated. It happens. And, you can't do that. You're going to get punished. That's we know him. He's going to look back and be like, okay, that's a little embarrassing. I don't want to do that again. It's just kind of a learning moment.
It is. It is.
So he's had one of the toughest seasons of anybody on the grid too.
That team really has.
Now, I empathize with the dude, but let's learn from it. And everybody, you don't even have to be Christian Gritsko to actually learn that lesson right now. Look at that and say like, okay, we don't want to do that. That's not a good look. Let's all move on. And also, you know, have some grace when the guy's like, because at some point he will be like, I'm sorry about that, and just have some grace there too and accepting apologies, and let's just move forward. We've got a great group of guys. We always do some really good racing. Everybody loves racing with each other. Here we go, DeLeo. Let's see if he can get this move done here on Jenkins. And if I'm DeLeo, like you said, it's time to be aggressive. There you go. Job done. P3. And there we go. We see the three guys we'd expect.
A lot of fun here in the final race. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, it's a time to reflect, kind of sit in the retrospective and look back on this season and just think about how we've gotten here, how the racing has been this season, and kind of what's next. Obviously, we've talked a good bit about the next season of NARL racing. That'll be Porsche Cup beginning in June, and I believe the date has been finalized actually to be beginning on June, I want to say 18th, maybe 25th, I think June 25th for the pros. That'll be at Hockenheimring later next month. But we're about to take the white flag, and we might have ourselves a classic here in the making. Just a straight-up fight between two drivers that had the championship on their mind. They probably don't know the points totals, and they just know they need to beat the other guy.
Yeah.
So, you know, we were talking about Almiron forcing the issue a little bit ago. He might not know the gap that he's got. He might have an idea, but he might not know exactly what the gap is. He just knows there's two guys he needs to beat. Here we go. This will be 2 to go. Barely. I mean, by 5 seconds.
Nice. Yeah, this could be a really good last lap, and like you said, Almiron might not have any idea. There's Alcruda going a little too defensive too early, and that just puts you offline and leaves you vulnerable here. You really want to avoid that. That's something I had to work on with my coach in practice. He just kind of ran me down. There we go. Keep the inside. Okay, you're good. Now, and again, Almiron's probably not going to force the issue too hard because the last thing he wants to do is wreck. But there we see, there's DeLeo 2 seconds behind, and you know, with 2 laps, that's not that far if you guys are fighting.
Whoa!
Oh, that's
this
too
is
much.
Exactly what Jose wants. This kind of fight. That was way too deep for Almiron. He gets into Alcrudo barely at turn 5. He now takes the inside at 6, and we are side by side with a lap and a half to go in the season. Almiron takes back over, but at what cost? I mean, that was straight up contact at turn 5.
That was, I don't think that was intentional. I think he might have just got a little bit too deep and was just trying to avoid the contact. It'd be interesting
right
to
there.
see, but Yeah, he's right there. That gap came down. That's what I was saying. A full second right there. Now he's right on your bumper. And we're going to have one to go with these three guys right on top of each other. Because even when they weren't battling, DeLeo was still catching a little bit in some parts of the track. So, I mean, this could get really spicy.
On board, Miguel Alcrudo, Canada corner right here. We know he's going to be seeing at least a tinge of red after that bit of contact at 5. I mean, hey, he just got moved out of the race lead and win here. And for all he knows, that could have been the championship move at that point in time. We know the situation. We know Almiron likely has it regardless. But he might still be thinking, hey, that was for the title. That was for all the marbles. And there are some hefty payouts. Jenkins to the pit lane. Might not have been good on fuel. I mentioned these guys barely got to the stripe last lap with about 6 extra seconds, 5-6 extra seconds to make that extra lap around the racetrack. And there you go. White flag with about 3 seconds remaining on the timer. We effectively have an extra lap because of how close it was. So I think a lot of guys' abs might have put them a little bit too short on fuel.
Man, that's what a way to end it. That's going to move. There's Mitch Buenaventura back up there into P4. DeMarco made his way back up in there. But yeah, this fight at the front, I mean, I think there might be 2 strung out now.
Never say never, Chris. Canada corner.
I know.
We have looked back at the NASCAR Nationwide Series and Xfinity Series and their dates here at Road America. It was always exciting in the final 2 corners, Canada corner and turn 14. Those were always points of interest in those races. I know this is GT3, not stock cars. The point remains, those are 2 very dramatic corners. You saw the bobble there out of Alcrudo moments ago. These guys are on the ragged edge trying to wrap this season up.
Yep, it's full send. It's right on the absolute limit of the grip for these cars. Just trying to get it around. You don't want to move any positions back. And man, I mean, that's the thing. Like the tires, they're, you know, this 40 minutes isn't a huge amount of time, you know, but the tires are starting to wear. They're starting to get a little bit slick. If you've been punishing the rears a lot, which I think I've seen Alcrudo have his step out a few times. And here we go, 3/10 back. Are we going to see a move here? This is the time to do it. Otherwise, you're going to have to drag race to the start finish.
And I don't think anybody is touching that 22. I do believe. Nope. Final couple of quarters now for Emiliano Almiron. The Argentinian is about to wrap up a perfect night at Road America. He won the pole. He won the sprint. He is about to win the feature. Emiliano Almiron will get it done at Road America, and I do believe he is going to be your Season 9 AM champion. Emiliano Almiron, bulletproof here in the final round.
That's the way you want to end it. Sweep it. I mean, like we were talking about, it might not have been necessary, but he may not have known that, and it doesn't matter because he got it done anyway. And yeah, being able to finish with that momentum, and that's going to feel really good. I think he swept another one, I think, if I remember right.
I don't think it's his first. Yeah, I think you're onto something there. So I think we just got, confirmation. Scott Reister has confirmed Emiliano Almiron is our champion here for AM Season 9. How about that?
And I think they finished the top 3 in championship order,
They did. Alcrudo second, DeLeo third. So the result order is the championship order. It makes you wonder, was NASCAR maybe onto something with those elimination races and such, the playoff format? That's effectively what we had tonight. It was just the best of those 3 walked out of here the champion.
Yeah, that was a good show as always, and those guys have been giving us really good racing between them. Some highs and lows, plenty of drama. The recovery drives out of DeLeo, the raw pace that we saw out of Almiron a lot of times, just kind of the quiet consistency from Alcrudo that kept him in there, with the occasional flashes of even more pace too. So, I mean, what a season! That's a hard one to top. I mean, I've been around this league since I think Season 2, and that's got to be one of the best ones, if not the best.
I do think this may have been in the top 3 for just straight up championship fights in the final race, Chris, and I've covered every single one of these. I've only missed single-digit races in our time covering the North American Racing League here at Pit Stop TV. There have been a couple, hospital trips and such, but very, very few. And I do think this is up there. Top 3 championship fights and probably top 10, I think, overall battles between Almiron and Al Crudo here this evening. So congratulations to those couple of drivers. And we'll take a look back here at our unofficial race results in just a moment here for the feature event. And I do think Jose De Leo ran out of gas right at the end of the race. It didn't really change much. He still finished 3rd, but let's take a look back at your unofficial race results here with Emiliano Almiron on top. Miguel Alcrudo 2nd, just 1 second back there. Of course, at that point, out of turn 14, he's probably thinking, oh my gosh, all of this to come up empty, and he was probably lifting off the gas a bit, but it was truly a very close race between your top 3. Those deltas, those intervals should be a lot tighter. That would better, I think, encompass the battle they had. Mitch Buenaventura goes 4th, Armando Bejaran 5th, Alex DeMarco, David Stevenson, Mark Booley, Devin Jenkins, and Armando Aarons, your top 10. And, I'm thinking back to my selections for driver of the day, and I don't regret? I don't regret my decisions at all to omit Jose De Leo, but I do want to highlight his drive back up to the top 3. I think at the time that we did those nominations, I was right to not list him, but I do think he proved me a little bit wrong in hindsight, because clearly he drove right back up there and made a great fight out of it. And Devin Jenkins unfortunately ran out of gas and had to come in, so maybe that could have been different, but I still think we had some really solid selections there, and Jose just might have heard that and kind of took it personally and got back on a loud pedal. And you know what? I think that's just an extra reason to highlight how good he was right there at the back end to get back up to these guys.
Oh, man. And that's not the first time that we've seen that from him. I'm sure it won't be the last time. Yeah, pretty small field today. A lot of, it's surprising. With only 15 cars, there's a surprising amount of drama. But, maybe surprising for the outsider, but I guess for us, who, are used to these guys this season, I guess it's not really that much of a shocker. Everybody, it's tight racing, it's close racing, but it's respectful. Yeah, and there you go. Almiron just puts everything in the right place, and well-deserved championship. And I'm really excited to, like I said, I'm pretty stoked to get to go race these guys next GT3 season and watch them in Porsche Cup. I think a lot of them will be in there.
Yeah, I do think we're going to have a good bit of crossover season to season. It's always difficult on the league side when you do flip cars, and we've done this before. We even had some seasons where we ran GT3 and Porsche Cup alongside one another. Our schedule's a little too full to allow that now, and I don't know that Scott would want to have that kind of workload on him every single week. But yeah, we see a good bit of crossover, but you will still have guys who favor one set of cars versus another, and so naturally you'll have a few drivers that don't run both. But we are waiting on drivers to come talk to us. I'm going to go ahead and ping the top 3. I suppose it would be fitting actually to get the championship favorites anyways, so that works out for us. But I'll go ahead and tag all those guys, and hopefully at least a couple of them can join us before the night is over. But Chris, we can look ahead while we wait on them and see what's upcoming for us here at Pit Stop TV. Even while the action ends here for the AM drivers in season number 9, we still have plenty of racing going on here at the channel, and it is admittedly all oval here until Tuesday, which is still oval cars. And you see Daytona, you see a stock car, you think it's going to be the big oval track. It's not. We'll get there in a second. Sunday morning, we open the morning up with the All-American Racing Network at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Chris, I hear you did pretty well for a short track last week at Wilkesboro.
Yeah, actually, I got P4. I would have had P3. There was a not safety car, wrong terminology. There was a caution that came out later in the race that let my teammate kind of get some fresh tires, get the lucky dog back on the lead lap, and then just kind of ran me down. But I was really happy. So far, I didn't know that my arms would survive 225 laps of a short track, but I made it. Yeah, so I've had some fun on the short tracks, intermediates, which Charlotte, I really like that one. Done a lot of that in the trucks now, and I enjoyed Daytona, so I'm actually loving all three, which is a good sign.
And from Sunday morning's race at Charlotte Motor Speedway, which Chris will be in at a big intermediate, we then go dirt racing on Monday evening with the NORL Retro Cup Series. It will be their Prelude event, kind of it's basically replicating what NASCAR used to do with the Prelude to the Dream. I actually don't recall who promoted that event back in the day. I mean, that was in my childhood, but basically NASCAR drivers would go racing at Eldora Speedway in dirt late models, and that is what they are doing on Monday. So it's a bunch of stock car guys going dirt racing. Should be a lot of fun. And then Tuesday evening, a bunch of stock car guys go road racing at the Daytona International Speedway. Yes, we're taking ARCA cars around the Daytona road course, and no, we are not doing what NASCAR did with their NASCAR chicane off of NASCAR Turn 4. We are letting these guys rip back to the start-finish line at about 195 miles per hour, and then ARCA brake into Turn 1. It is going to be a spectacular event, that is for sure. I don't know if that will be for the battles or for the crashing at Turn 1. I do think we are liable to see at least one Turn 1 pileup in that race. And of course, while road racing doesn't typically have cautions, that race will have two starts. The start of the race and the restart after the completion of Stage 1. So that's worth tuning into, because there have been some big feelings and big crashes lately on Tuesday night. So this is going to be a wild race on Tuesday. I'm excited for it. But we've got drivers ready to talk to us now after their season of racing here on the North American Racing League for GT3 Season 9 on the AM side. And Emiliano Almiron, congratulations. You are our champion here this season. It was kind of a toss-up between the three of you, and you did not falter. You stepped right in the batter's box and batted 1,000. Pole position, the sprint win, the feature win. How satisfying, how accomplished do you feel winning this championship this evening?
Muchas gracias a todo North America Racing. La verdad que estoy muy contento y nada, quería agradecer a todo, a mi coach, al equipo Pampa Racing. Por toda la ayuda, todos estaban apoyándome y nada, entrenamos muchísimo para esta carrera, más de 500 vueltas les dimos.
And Emiliano, we saw the teammate work there from Armando Bejaran. How much does it mean to you in this championship fight to have him kind of backing you up and helping protect for you a little bit, trying to help you every step of the way?
Sí, la verdad que fue una carrera muy dura, con muchos nervios. Había gente que estaba andando muy bien, José Doleo estaba andando muy bien, y al crudo venía tapándome todo, así que nada, quiero felicitarlos a ellos también por todo el trabajo que han hecho y por el campeonato que han hecho ellos también.
Emiliano, congratulations once again on the wins tonight, the championship as a whole. It's been a lot of fun watching you all season long. I'm excited to see what's next for you. And again, congratulations.
Gracias. Y vamos a por más. Vamos a la Porsche Cup.
There you go. Sounds like he's racing Porsche Cup, Chris.
Yep.
So it'll be fun to see him go wheel to wheel in those cars in a month's time or so. So Emiliano Almiron, champion here this season on the amateur side. Jose DeLeo is ready to talk to us. Here he is, Chris.
All right, yeah, we get Jose DeLeo in here, P3 in the feature race, and ended up P3 in the championship. You were atop of the power rankings for a large percentage of the season. And we were kind of watching. We were talking about, it's who's going to make a mistake first, and it looks like the only mistake that really got made by you was the off track that we saw. We saw you kind of pull in at the end of qualifying. Did you think you could still get it done, or did you think, oh man, that's like how big of a mistake in your mind was that, and what was your mindset to try to recover from it?
First of all, big thanks to the league. You guys did an awesome job. I kind of messed up my last quali lap there, so I had to pull it in. That did not put me in a good position going to the first corner on the first heat. so I had to give 2 positions, keep it clean. And then just the guys in front were just a little bit too fast today. Yeah, I tried my hardest to recover. It was not meant to be. Coming into the second heat, I kind of felt I'm very positive. I know I can come back from the position I was, but then I got unlucky with Thompson spinning in front of me. Lost a few positions there, and then just I gotta give it to the Pampa team. They did an awesome job holding me back. I mean, Bejarani, I think is his last name. It was so hard to pass him. I saw him a dummy coming into the pits, and man, it was just a hard race. But I mean, I'm grateful to participate and make a podium.
Well, it was a great race. I mean, as far as you had a lot of adversity, like you said, got unlucky with Pierre, and I couldn't believe you stopped that car in time. I thought for sure you were going to smash into the side of him, so that was amazingly well held. We saw great racecraft for the rest of the race, too, and we usually do out of you. You were making really smart business decisions, like, you were aggressive where you needed to be, but not overly so. So how what I'm getting at here is, I think you, despite the P3, I think all 3 of you guys are definitely ready for Pro-Am. So I was wondering how excited you are to get to maybe move up and start racing and working your way through that field and improving on your pace and moving up the standings there.
I will welcome that challenge 100%. That's the only way to get better, race faster, guys. Yeah, I mean, I try to be smart with my moves, kind of looking at the point situation. I want to race clean. I race like people race me. So, yeah, to me, there's satisfaction in keeping it clean and outsmarting people, setting up the move, even if it takes me 2-3 laps. But today, I tried my best to come from behind. I was hoping Alcrudo and Almiron were going to fight a little bit more, but I kind of expected Alcrudo to lose some grip because the Mustang it tends to do that by the end of the race, and Almiron was able to create some distance, and it was a done deal for me by then.
Well, yeah, it was, great race, great battles you had there, and a really strong recovery drive, as we've seen from you a number of times. So, man, congratulations on the P3. Congratulations on one, just one hell of a season, man. And I'm looking forward to, having you breathing down my neck and getting a little wheel banging in with you next GT3 season when we get the chance. So I'm excited to see you out there, man.
Yes, sir. Count on it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And that is Jose De Leo, a season well done. I mean, he was a lot of fun to watch every single race. And I'm gutted for him, but so happy for Emiliano, and really for all 3 of them getting to do battle this evening and just show what they're made of. I think it was a fantastic race. I am going back really quick just to see... you can see this, Chris. The viewers can't right now, but I'm going back. I want to see, I think it was lap 1, right? Or 2, where Jose had to all but stop. Looks like it was lap 1. So I do want to pull that up quickly. So give me a moment to do that, because I think that played a really large role in this. How much would be different? I don't know. But I do think that played a very big role in tonight's championship. So here's a look at it. This is back on lap 1 for Jose De Leo. And, let's just watch it from his driver's eye POV, because this tells a crazy story for the first lap of racing.
Yeah, he's just, you can see good battle going on in front of him. He's not getting impatient or anything. You're thinking right here, okay, I can just follow Pierre through. Pierre's a little too tight to the inside, and yeah, just contact, and it's too much too soon. But what a job avoiding that. Oh my gosh. That was honestly just, and like you said, I'm wondering how that would have gone down if he wouldn't have had to just come to a stop there.
And once again, wouldn't you believe it, it was Pierre Thompson and Devin Jenkins making some contact, and at turn 5 once again. So those 2 just had a magnet in each of their cars tonight. Here's a look at it for Jose from outside the car. You see that little bit of contact. Pierre comes to a slide and stop. That was just brilliant stuff from Jose De Leo. That was perfect wreck avoidance one more time from high above, and this is easily our Murtis mega miss of the evening. One that's so good that we need to take a step back and watch us all over again a couple of times.
See, Pierre gets... I think he was going to make the corner, but the thing is Jenkins is already there. So, yeah, wow. Just, I mean... And nobody crunched him from behind. It's...
I mean, it was genuinely a really good wreck avoidance moment there from Jose at the beginning of this feature race for the championship. So that's a lot weighing on his mind. He had to be absolutely perfect right there, and he was. So once again, Jose showing what he's made of. We do, of course, have the driver of the day vote to wrap up. The problem with that, Chris, it is currently tied. So this is my call to action for those of you still watching. If you've not voted, get that vote in. I'm going to go spam a couple of channels to try and get a driver of the day vote sorted here. But it's currently tied, Almiron and Alcrudo. I'm trying to avoid a runoff vote. But we might have to do that here in a second to wrap that up. There is some money attached to it, so we do want to get a definitive winner between those two. Regardless, the season comes to a close here, Chris. I mean, how do we feel about it looking back?
Well, I think we already mentioned it's probably one of, if not the best one that we've gotten to see. So I feel really lucky that I got to come in here and do this with you and kind of watch these guys put on a show and just talk about everything that's going on and enjoy the ups and the downs, all the drama, the battles. I mean, it's been, you could make a movie out of this season, I think, and it would be a pretty good one. We need our own Drive to Survive over here, but
Wouldn't that be something? I know Love 46 is working with Scott Reister on some stuff for the Porsche Cup season this summer. Maybe that might be a slight thing out of reach, maybe, of what we can do for this, but I'm sure there'll be some great content coming out of that to at least fill the gap and be fun to look at. I have been notified that Scott says it's okay if they tie, so we'll give it a little more time, but we do still want to try and get a definitive winner if possible between those couple of drivers. I guess just in the scope of how this fits in, Chris, of course, we look up at what's happening now for the pro side in a couple of weeks. Of course, you're back on track at Watkins Glen in 2 weeks' time. That caps off the full season here for Season 9. How do we feel about that? I mean, obviously, we might see a couple of these guys get bumped up the next GT3 season, but we've also been to Watkins Glen already this season with these AM guys, so they kind of gave us a look at what these pro guys might be able to expect, if I can get the words out, for the championship here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun race. It's a difficult, I hope it's not just me, but I find it to be a very difficult and kind of limiting track as far as overtaking goes. Not to say there won't be overtaking, it's just you'll have to be more aggressive with your attacks and maybe also a little smarter in how you set those up, which, I mean, that's why they're pros, so we'll see the guys. I won't quite be close enough to watch in person. I'll have to come back and watch the broadcast to see how they do. But and then the Pro-Ams, I mean, always a good show. Hopefully we can keep it clean. It should be tricky there, but yeah, it's going to be, as we said earlier, it's going to be a real banger.
It's going to be a lot of fun for sure in a couple of weeks. Watkins Glen's a fantastic racetrack. It just, sometimes it's great. Sometimes it, like you said, can be limiting just because of how fast it is. I think we saw that in the NASCAR Cup race there last weekend. But that's look at the pro schedule. Of course, it's coming to a close in a couple of weeks at Watkins Glen. And apparently, everybody wants to vote for Devin Jenkins now, but it won't be enough. It'll be a shared driver of the day between Emiliano Almiron and Miguel Alcrudo. So here's the graphic. We'll run it here for Emiliano. Congratulations to him. And also to Miguel Alcrudo. Let me get, there we go. So, hey, they both get a little bit of cash out of it. That's awesome. I, again, kind of really hate that for Jose De Leo, but you know what? It wasn't his night tonight. There's always next season, I suppose.
Yep. And that's what you'll be looking to build on. So start prepping. If you're doing Porsche Cup, kind of get some seat time in there and just kind of look back and see where did I struggle? What parts of my driving do I need to improve? Is it the entry, the exit, and just start getting work done on it, get ready for the next one.
Hey, a big congratulations to our champion this evening, Emiliano Almiron, and I guess it really is the end of the broadcast here, but a big thank you to our partners this season. We do still have one more, I guess, technically in the season, so I don't have to get all choked up or anything just yet, but a big thank you to Baradinus, JS Consulting, Screw Compressor Service Incorporated, and Rocket Designs. I've mentioned before, I've been kind of open about this lately. This is, I believe, our longest tenured series at Pitstop TV. It absolutely is, actually, thinking about it. Absolutely is. We're working on 5 years this summer. I still recall I had an 09 Lancer at the time. If you know anything about Mitsubishi, they work with Nissan a good bit in modern times. And unfortunately, that Lancer had the CVT transmission. It was not an Evo. I'm sorry, not even a GTS. It was a base model Lancer. And the reason I mention this is because that transmission was on its way out at the time, and I just didn't quite know it. I still recall the phone call, though, outside of the auto shop, trying to figure out what the heck was wrong with my car at the time, when I first talked to Scott Reister and set up all the details for this series and basically inked the deal. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Chris, I'm so glad he took a chance on us at that time, because Pitstop TV in 2021 and Pitstop TV in 2026, very different. I don't like going back and looking at those old broadcasts. Every once in a while, I get a little bit nostalgic, and we'll share those old links from years back. But yeah, I've learned a lot in the last 5 years, and a lot of it has been thanks to NARL and Scott Reister, and this league constantly pushing the bounds of what we can do at Pitstop TV. So it's been another great season. I'm happy it's happened, and happy that we have more on the way. But again, a big thank you to the partners there on the left side of your screen and ours here at the channel: Whiplash Simcams, MX Wraps, ATVO, Murtis Esports, CC's Business, the North American Racing League, Whiplash Creative, and TZO Designs. Chris, it's a season well done. Congratulations on making it through. How do you feel now you've got a full season under your belt here commentating?
Job done. I'm ready for more. Let's do another one.
Sounds great. Thanks so much for watching here this evening. Of course, we've talked about every talking point I think we can here so far. So go have a great night. We'll see you in the next one, hopefully in a couple of weeks for the pro finale. Otherwise, we'll see you hopefully Sunday morning to wake up early with Bully Dog Coffee in mind for the All-American Racing Network at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm looking forward to it. Until then, have a great night.